jump right in. Today is September 18th. Happy Friday. You got this block and one more block, and then it's the weekend, and you can hang out, have some fun, relax, enjoy yourself. Plan for today. Okay, we're going to do an entry task on prime or composite numbers. I want to give you some more practice with those two concepts. You've been looking at those for the last couple weeks, but I want to make sure that we have some time to practice those, give you a chance to work more with those concepts. So prime and composite entry task. We're going to do lesson 7 together. First block didn't finish, so it was assigned as homework. So that's some incentive for you to stay on task, work through that, and get it done so you don't have to do it for homework. And then iReady for those with computers. Okay, that's after the fact. That's their homework. Target for today: find factor pairs and multiples of whole numbers. And then the homework for today: finish factor and multiple statements. That's what was assigned yesterday. That is what we are going to do as a class today. And then if we don't finish, then it'll be homework. So let's jump right in. Let's do it. Let me get my block 2 notes up, share my screen. Okay.
No.
Okay, so you should see this prime and composite worksheet. There's a cute little penguin there. It's hanging out by, well, I was going to say a frozen little lake, but that's actually just the little design behind the prime and composite title. But this worksheet, this little entry task here, is going to give us a good chance to practice finding factors and determining whether a number is prime or composite. So the directions say write the factors for each number, then decide if it is prime or composite. Okay. Now before we get into this, let's go ahead and you don't have to write it down. You can. I'm going to write it down so we can reference it. But write down what a prime number is and what a composite number is. So what is it when I say a number is prime? What does that mean? What does it mean if something is prime? Malia? You're on mute. I can't hear you.
Prime is where there only could be one double to make another number.
Only one double to make the number. Can I reword that as only one factor pair?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly right. Only one factor pair. And that is 1 and the number. Right, so you can only make that area of the rectangle with side lengths of 1 and that number, that's the area. You can only write a multiplication expression that has 1 times the number in order to get that answer. Now, what about composite? I'm going to change my colors here. I'm going to go composite. What does it mean if a number is composite? Camila?
Composite means there was much more factor pairs.
So much more factor pairs. Can I say 2 or more?
Yeah.
All right, so 2 or more factor pairs. Nice job, Camila. Nice job, Malia. I saw a few people with hands up, so that was awesome participation all around. Elizabeth, do you have a question?
Yeah, what page is it?
So this actually is not in your workbook. This is just a separate sheet that I pulled up online for us to work together. So it would be a good idea to write these things down on a piece of paper, just a separate sheet. But you're not turning this in. This is just us working on it together, getting some good practice. Okay. We will eventually get into the workbook, but for right now, we're going to work on this page. So if I were to start on this first problem here, The number is 8, and I'm trying to find all the factor pairs so that I can determine is 8 prime or is it composite. So first and foremost, how do I find the factor pairs of 8? Or what are the factor pairs of 8? Camila, go for it. What are the factor pairs of 8? And how would you find them?
The two factor pairs are 4 and 4.
So 4 times 4 would be 16. We're thinking two numbers that multiply together to get us 8.
Oh, 4 times 2.
Nice recovery. 4 times 2, that equals 8. Are there any other ones?
Is it also like, can you also do addition?
No addition. We're looking for two numbers that multiply together to get us 8. And we always said that this one will always be there.
Oh, 1 times 8.
Yeah, 1 times 8, or 1 times the number, right? That's always going to be a factor pair. Okay, so now given the fact that we have two factor pairs here, Camila, is this prime or is it composite?
Composite.
It is composite. Well done. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do 25, and then I'm going to give you a chance to work through the rest of the page on your own. So 25, who can give me the factor pairs of 25? All right, I see Camila's participating, raising her hand. I love it. I want to see if someone else knows it. Malia, you want to help us out? What are the factor pairs of 25?
1 and 25.
Right, we can always start there. We can always start with 1 and the number. So 1 and 25. Okay, are there any other factor pairs here?
5 times 5.
Yeah, 5 times 5. Well done. Now that we know that there are many different factors, is this prime or is it composite, Malia?
Composite.
It is composite. Well done. Okay, I'm going to scroll down here. I want you to try to get a few of these completed, and then we'll come back together and write them down as a class, okay? So the numbers you're trying to find factors for and determine prime or composite, 21, 30, 5, 48, 19, and 12. Might be worth your while to write those numbers down on a piece of paper and start writing out the factors. Okay, so I'll give you maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes to try to get as many of those completed as you can. And then we'll come back together. Oops. I hate when I click on over here. There we go. Oops. There we go. All right, about a minute more. 30 seconds to a minute more. If you're not gonna get through all of them, that's okay. We're gonna do them as a class. May not even do all of them as a class, but just work through some more examples together.
I got through it.
Nice job, Sarah.
Me too.
All right, Camila's done. Awesome job, girls. Wrap up those final thoughts for those who aren't quite done, and then we'll go through it as a class, okay? All right, so looking at 3, it says 21 is the number. What are the factor pairs of 21? Can someone help me? Okay, Malia, do you want to help me with 21?
Yes. 1 times 21.
Great.
And it's a prime number.
It's a prime number. You couldn't come up with any other factors? I think there's one more out there.
2 times.
Remember, 21 is odd and 2 is even. And if we skip count by an even number like that, it's always going to be even. So it won't land on 21.
3.
Okay, 3 and what?
Five.
So let's go ahead and skip count here, okay? If I skip counted by 3s, I have 3, 6, 9. Can you keep going for me, Milia?
12. 15. 18. 21.
Yeah, 21, and there we go. How many times did we have to skip count? How many times was it?
7.
It was 7 times. So 3 times 7 equals 21 as well. So now that we know that, is it prime or is it composite?
Composite.
It is composite. Let me erase these notes here. Write it down. Yep, composite. Okay, looking at the next one, 30. Who can help me out? Camila, you want to help on that one?
Yes.
Okay.
30 times 1 and 5
Okay.
times 6.
Awesome.
And it's
So is it prime or is it, what's that?
And it's composite.
It is composite. And there are even other factors out there as well. But once we've found at least 2 of them, we know it's composite for sure, because composite means 2 or more, all the way up to 100 factors if we had that big of a number. Okay, nice job, Camila. What about 5? Okay, I see that Camila knows. Malia's hands up as well. Sarah, you said that you finished this. Do you want to try to help me with 5?
Five times 5? No.
So that would give us 25. Remember that we could always, and this was a little bit before you joined us too, but we said that we could always multiply 1 times the number, right? That's one factor pair. So if we were to do that for 5, what would that factor pair be? You want to phone a friend? Okay. Jocelyn, what's the factor pair for 5?
5.
What did you say? 1 times 5? I think that's what you said. 1 times 5, and that would be correct. Now, Malia, are there any other factor pairs for 5? There are not. So what classification is this number? Did you say prime? It is prime.
Prime.
Nice job, Malia. Let's look at 48. What are the factors of 48? I see Camila and Malia have their hands up again. I want to hear from some other people too. I want to make sure that the rest of you have it as well. Elizabeth?
One times 48.
Yep, that's one of them. Nice. Do you know any other ones?
No.
No. Okay. Eileen, I saw your hand was up at one point. Do you know another factor pair?
Is there one with 5?
Well, if we skip count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, all of our numbers end in a 5 or a 0. And I see an 8 here. So 5 won't go into it. You want to phone a friend?
Yeah.
I kind of called you out here, so put you on the spot. Camila, I see your hands up. Do you know another factor pair, 48?
Right now I was skip counting to see if there was another one. By 8.
Did you find one?
No, not yet. I barely started skip counting.
Okay. Let's go to Malia. I see her hands up.
So I know it starts with 2, but now I'm skip counting to what 2 would take me to.
Okay. So Malia's skip counting. Camila's skip counting. So we'll give them a second and see if they come up with another one.
I got one.
All right. Give it to me, Camila. What'd you get?
8 times 6.
Very good. 8 times 6. If you were to skip count by 8, 6 times, you land on 48. If you were to skip count by 6, 8 times, you land on 48. So that would be an option. So now that we know that there are multiple factor pairs, what is this? Is it prime or is it composite?
Composite.
It is composite. Malia, did you come up with one?
Mm-hmm.
What was the other factor pair or another one?
$26?
Close.
27?
No, wrong way. Wrong way. Okay, Malia, you keep working on that one. Or do you know it? What do you think?
24.
There it is. Yep, 2 times 24 is another option as well. All right, so good job, Malia, for finding that one. Okay, we're gonna skip 8. Let's finish on 7. 7, the number is 19. What are the factor pairs of 19? Jocelyn, let's go ahead and put the dog down. So factor pairs of 19. Jocelyn, can you help us?
1 times 19.
Yep, very good. Are there any other factor pairs?
No.
Let's go over to Camila real fast. Camila, are there any other factor pairs here?
No, since they're
No,
both.
there are not. Yeah, there aren't any other factor pairs here. If we were to skip count by 2, we would miss it. If we were to skip count by 3, we'd miss it. Skip count by 4, we'd miss it. We'd keep trying, we'd never land on it. So with that being the case, this is a
Prime
Camila.
number.
Yeah, a prime number. All right, good job, girls. We're going to get into the activity now, but can I see some cameras for a second? And thumbs up, sideways down. How do you feel about prime numbers versus composite numbers? How do you feel about finding factor pairs and counting them to determine prime or composite? You feel better now that you've had a little bit more practice with it and seen many different examples? Awesome. Thumbs up all around. Great. If you have questions on it, please ask, because this is important stuff. Okay. Okay, we're going to scroll down. At least I'm going to scroll down. This is in your packet, page 28. It's in your book, page 30, and I'll write that down at the top. Page 30 in your workbook, page 28 in your packet. Okay, you don't have the numbers written down here. I filled those in just to give you kind of a like an example or a foundation for you when you're filling these out. So I'm going to do the first one for you guys, or I guess along with you guys. We're filling in, completing these statements. It says complete a statement using the word factor and a statement using the word multiple for each number. So here's the number here. We're working with 10 in the first row. And so we need to figure out what is a factor of 10. And then we need to show the multiplication expression,
10.
equation in this case, that equals 10.
7.
Okay. So if I were thinking, what is a factor of 10? Well, what are numbers that can be multiplied together to give me 10? And I'm thinking, well, 5 times 2 would give me 10, wouldn't it? So I'm going to say 5. I could choose 2. I'm feeling 5 at the moment. 5 is a factor of 10 because 5 times 2 equals 10. There's my reasoning. Okay, do you understand that? You're writing down a factor of 10. Now we're going to go over to multiple on the right side and think, okay, what is a multiple of 10? Well, if I were to skip count by 10, what are some numbers I could land on? Well, I could skip count by 10 and land on 20. I could land on 30. I could land on 40, and so on. So I'm going to say 40 is a multiple of 10 because when I skip count by 10 4 times, or 10 times 4, I get 40. Does that make sense on what you're supposed to do? Okay, so in your workbook, I want you to start filling some of these out, okay? Let's do one more example together. I want your help on this one. Who can help me with 7 here? What is a factor of 7 that I could write down? Adelina, go for it.
You can put 1 times 7.
Okay, 1 times 7 could get me 7. Which factor do you want to choose?
The factor I want to choose is 1. I would say 1 or 2. Wait, hold.
So you said 1 times 7 equals 7, but I need to write one of those factors in here. Which one do you want?
Can I call on someone?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Let's go to, or you can.
Malia.
We could put 1.
Yeah, 1 would work perfect. 1 is a factor of 7 because 1 times 7 equals 7. So you could have chose 1 or 7 there. Either would have worked. Okay, let's look at a multiple of 7 now. So blank is a multiple of 7 because, well, what could be a multiple of 7? What's something that we could skip count by 7 and land on? Katie?
Mr. Ross,
Yeah?
I didn't raise my hand.
Oh, well, your hand was raised. That's why I called on you. Let's go to someone else. Camila, what are you thinking? Blank is a multiple of 7 because...
I was gonna say the one that Adelina said.
Okay, for the factor. Okay, Malia, do you have a multiple statement that we could use? So remember up here for 10, we said 40 is a multiple of 10 because we could skip count by 10 4 times to land on 40. So 10 times 4 equals 40. What's something that we could skip count by 7 and land on?
1.
So if we're counting by 7s, what's a number that we could land on?
14.
Yeah, that would be an example. Why would that work? What's the multiplication problem for that?
2 times 7.
Yeah, 2 times 7 equals 14, right? The multiple here is the product. Okay, it will always be the product. And it's a multiple of these numbers here, the factors, every single time. So 14 is a multiple of 7. It's also a multiple of 2 because we can multiply those two numbers by each other to get 14. Okay. We're kind of running out of time, so let's do the last couple together here, and then I'm going to let you finish off the assignment on your own as homework, okay? So let's look at 50. What could a factor of 50 be? Camila, I see your hands up. What's a factor of 50?
1.
All right, 1 could be a factor. Why?
1 times 50 equals 50.
Yeah, 1 times 50 equals 50. Very good. We could also say something like 2 could be a factor because 2 times 25 equals 50. It's another one. Right, there are many of them there. What about a multiple of 50, Camila? Do you want to give us a multiple of 50?
100?
Yeah. 100 is a multiple of 50 because
50 times 2?
Yep, 50 times 2 equals 100. Nice job, Camila. Okay, last one we're going to do together, 16. So blank is a factor of 16 because what do you think? This is the last one we're going to do. I know Camila's got it. She's been on top of this all day. I want to hear from somebody else. Thank you, Camila. Malia's been on top of it all day too. We can go to Jocelyn. Jocelyn, what do you think? What is a factor of 16?
1 times 16.
Okay, that is one. Can you find another factor? Because we've been using one the last few of them. What is another factor of 16? You have an idea?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, what are you thinking?
Mr. Ross, I'll be right back. I have to take care of something real quick. 8 times
Okay.
2?
8 times 2? Yeah, 8 times 2 equals 16. So what factor do you want to choose for this?
16.
Well, 16, we're looking for a factor of 16. And based on this, which one do you want to choose, 8 or 2?
8?
Yeah, that would work. 8 is a factor of 16 because 8 times 2 is 16. There's a factor pair right there, 8 and 2. So 8 is a factor. We could also say 2 is a factor. Well done, Jocelyn. All right, last one we're going to do together, 16. So blank is a multiple of 16 because Adelina.
Mm. 16. I would say 32 is a multiple of 16 because 16 times 2 equals 32.
Well done. Yeah, that's exactly right. 32 is a multiple of 16 because if you skip count by 16 2 times, then, well, I guess skip count just one extra time, but have 2 16s added together, we get 32. So 32 is a multiple. Nice job, Adelina. Okay, so as you can see on your workbook, there are 4 more problems I want you to complete. Okay, these are homework problems. I recorded this lesson, and you should have been following along as we went through it. So you should have 4 good examples here to use to help you with these last 4 problems on your own. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. That's all I have for you today. Okay, if you aren't an iReady kid, so you aren't taking the test right now, I want you to sign off the call and get to work on those last 4 practice problems. If you are an iReady kid, I want you to log off the call and start your iReady test. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.